Hello! Welcome to your regularly unscheduled stupidity. I actually said it right this time. Will Kaiser Drake here, signing in for your, not really entertainment. You know me by now, I make these videos, well, I upload these videos when I've actually got something to talk about. And what I've got to talk about is that I've actually got Transformers towards my quota. Now, last year, my quota got completely fucked. Because my sister gave me a bag of Transformers at the beginning of the year, before the year had even really begun. And there were 13 figures in there. Yeah, 13 Transformers in a bag. Yeah. I had to reset my quota. And I ended up getting 11 more figures throughout the year. So, yeah. So this year I've fully reset the quota. It is 5, and well, recently I got a hold of 3. Classics Gun Megatron. Yes, it is the Megatron, not the Legends or Takara Henke one. It is the really weird and purple-green one. He's literally right over there, actually. That one. That's him. That's him, officer. That's the one who did it. It's him, officer. He did it. Not him. No, not him. Him. It's his fault. So yeah, I got Classics Megatron. I've also got the War/Fall of Cybertron Leader/Voyager Soundwave, the one that actually ejects the discs. I'm only missing a disc. And Power Core Combiners Skyhammer. I already had a Power Cores Skyhammer, but both of them are in opposite states of each other, where mine was in relatively okay condition, just missing a head and missing the arms. This one was missing nothing, except the Minicon, which I don't really care about its Minicon, because its Minicon was crap. But it didn't have the actual head, but it had the overhead for the combined mode, and it had the hands. But its nose cone was chewed, and its tail fins were folded in the wrong direction, so they can't be folded out for jet mode. So, yeah, it's going to be custom folded by the end of the time. So I'll just take parts off of it, put it onto my actual one. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Tickaboo. So, yeah. That's the 3 Transformers to my quota. Now, technically speaking, I could add my Dino Tricera that's on my shelf, but it's not a Transformer. It technically counts, but it's an original thing. And technically, I could count this mofo. Yes, I do have the front part. It's on the tray. I'm in the middle of working on it. But I could count him. This is a knockoff Might Gain. Yeah. Just so you're aware, in another video I've yet to upload, I keep calling it Might Gain. Just I'm so used to saying A rather than I. So, yeah. And I'm so used to saying I instead of A. It's Might Gain, not Might Gain. No, it is Might Gain. Ugh. I was saying it as Might Gain when it's Might Gain. disregard that, it's might gain. I was calling it might gain. So, yeah. Welcome to my world. Verbal gerbil and dyslexia. It's not fun. What's up here? Don't come out here. So, yeah. I got a knockoff might gain. No arms. So, I am currently trying to make some arms. Only thing is, I'm function over aesthetics when it comes to that kind of thing, so the arms have to do their thing. So they have to turn into trains. One of them turns into a jet, the other turns into a robot. So, on Lego's newest digital designing software, stud.io, or Bricklink Studios, literally I've seen it called both of them. So you tell me what its actual name is. I've actually got a working prototype for a little Lego arm for this guy. It is 3 studs in width, 18 in length, and roughly about 4 in height. The reason why I'm saying this is because the cavity in here, when used for actual storage, is roughly about 18 studs in length, roughly about 4.5 in height, and 3.5 in width. Yes, I have counted. This is roughly about how big the trains have to be. So, yeah, like that. It still gives it a bit of wiggle room, but that is essentially how long and how wide they have to be. But technically I could add this to the quota. So that would be a 4th to the quota. But I can't because this guy is going towards a custom. Since I'm refurbishing it to actually have arms, I decided why not take that one step further. Now, this guy originally comes from the Yusha Express Might Gain, which is all trains and such. So it's a train-themed Brave series. Fun enough, it's also said to be the Batman of the Braves, and honestly, yeah, that makes sense. Because no alien robots, just super-powered robots created by people. So, yeah. It's funny. It's just, his final combined form, Great Might Gain, I don't much like. Might Kaiser, I like. Great Might Gain, I do not. Mainly because, essentially, you plug 2 pieces into the feet. That's fine. Then another piece plugs around the back and wraps around the front to make the arms wider. That's okay. Then we get to the part I don't like. The arms. The arms don't get bigger. They don't get longer. They stay the exact same length. All you do is plug 2 pieces either side of the forearms. And even then, it's not secure. It's just wrapped around. And not even clipped in. It's literally a friction hold. So, imagine getting taller, wider body, but your arms are the exact same length. That's basically what happens to Mike Guine. Now, in the show, it looks like it's bigger, but it's not. So, what I actually plan to do is, well, make my own Great Mike Guine in the form of a tribute to a one-time character from Transformers R.I.D. 2001. There was a one-time character in the form of Grandpa, who was literally just a steam engine. He wasn't a transformer, he wasn't even a person, he was just a steam engine. But it was in episode 3, titled Secret Weapon Grandpa. The Predacons thought Grandpa was a super secret weapon, but no, it was just a steam engine that the main character's father had fond memories of. Because, well, Japan is all about trains. Literally, the general public transportation service is just trains. So, trains are extremely popular over there, and there's a lot of awesome train-based mecha merchandise. Like my guy, Shinkarion. Only problem is, stuff like that doesn't sell very well outside of Japan, which is really unfortunate because they're really fucking cool toys. So, yeah. It's only those of us who are able to import them who actually get them. I'm unable to import, so... So, what I want to do is build up the arms, and then paint this guy up to look like Grandpa. Then, the arm that turns into a jet, I want to turn into the linear RFG, which is another one-time used MacGuffin in RID. It's a giant pink space-age monorail bullet train. It already looks like a jet, so I may as well turn it into the jet arm. But then, the robot arm, I'm not sure if I should actually keep it as a bullet train or make it look like a miniature version of Grandpa. So, I don't know. I might. I just don't know. But then I want to take it a step further. I want to get a hold of 2 of the helicopter Combiner Wars molds, specifically Alpha Bravo, because he's a stand-in character. No one's really gonna miss a stand-in character. So I thought. It's just, the helicopter mold makes a really good train. So, by getting 2 of those, turning them into Rapid Run and Midnight Express, then getting Titan's Returns Astro Train and turning that into Rail Spike, fiddling it around a bit, turning the 2 limbs into new feet, then rearranging Astro Train Rail Spike into a new torso and arms, make a new Rail Racer. So it's going to be Rail Racer a la Road Caesar. Not the best, but it can work. But then from there, split the Astro Train Rail Spike in half, make that into new feet to plug up in here and connect in place, and then the Combiner Wars limbs to become the new arms. And I've actually already checked. Right, this is my one and only Combiner limb. It's fucking Dreadwind. A character that's not even meant to be a limb. But yeah, that's already in scale. So imagine this on the same side, on the other side. It would work quite well. The only problem is, turns out, Alpha Bravo is actually rather expensive now. For a stand-in character who's not even a core member of a team, for some reason he's really fucking expensive. Like, Drag Strip, I can pick one of those up for £9. £5 if I'm actually lucky. But Alpha Bravo? A stand-in? No, no. 45 is the minimum. Here's the thing. They don't even need to be complete. They literally just need to be the torso and the legs. After that, I'm going to be making new arms and some new joints for the arms to let them fold upwards. So, on this guy you can see that's as far as the arms will go up. What I plan on doing for the trains, or the helicopters, is to actually put a joint here that then hinges up. So this facing upwards like that. And then from there, I would name the absolute conglomeration Rail Breaker. I'm not the best at explaining things, but yeah. I might make a better video explaining this in depth more later on. But for a start, it'll be fun to do. I just need to get the things to make it. Something else I've been working on is actually planning to make an RC car of this beautiful monstrosity. Say hello to one of my absolute favourite Hot Wheels cars, the Excessive. Now, I absolutely love this because it's such a weird design, but it actually makes sense. It is a jungle rescue vehicle. Now, its gimmick is that, as you can see here, there is a split. The front section is capable of twisting, so it forms a pseudo-suspension. Later versions don't have this, so here's the underside of the initial release of the actual vehicle. So, you can see it's got the split section. But here is a later release. This is one of the remolds. It does not have the split. And it's really unfortunate because that was this thing's whole gimmick. But what I want to actually do is make an RC car of this. So my plan is to have a dual motor fed drivetrain leading into 2 gear reduction hubs leading into the transmission that then lead into 3 differentials for the wheels that then lead out into gear multiplication wheel hubs. So essentially, the motor will be spinning at full speed. It'll then, well, the motors will be spinning at full speed. They will be then fed into half reduction gearboxes, then fed into the transmission, then fed into the differentials that will then feed it back out, doubling it back to its original speed on the wheels. It's a bit convoluted, but it makes sense. The only problem is, I need a bunch of dead power drills to actually make the wheel hubs and the gear reduction gearboxes. And I also need 3 of the exact same differential. The only thing is, I don't know what specific differential I need. So it's going to be a case of whatever one I can actually get in person times 3 that is suitable for an off-roader. Because I'm not building this to be a trial truck. I'm not building this to be a rock crawler. I'm building this to be an off-road race car. I want this thing to be able to go over rough terrain, but I want it to be relatively fast. So think a Traxxas, but 6 wheels and a bit more beefy. Because something I also want to do with this is to actually have a cooling system. So what I'm planning is using an old vacuum cleaner, taking its fan or its impeller, hooking it up to a secondary power source but to the same switch, so that it'll draw air in that'll then cool the battery and the ESC. The only problem is if dirt and stones get into it, so I'll have to put in some kind of filter, but theoretically that would work. But yeah, this is only conjecture and planning. Without the actual equipment and the means, I can't do it. So, yeah. It's just something I'm working on, something I would love to do, and I've always wanted to actually build an RC car, just never had the means to do it. So, yeah. Now on to the next topic. Combiners. So, right. Up there I've got Revenge of the Fallen Superion, Revenge of the Fallen Bruticus, Classics Devastator, and the StarCast Dino Team. And in front of me on the bookshelf, I've got Energon Constructicon Maximus, or Energon Devi. Now, I'm not a G1er. Plain simple, I don't have much of an attachment to G1 whatsoever. Yes, there are some G1 characters I like, but I don't love G1. To me, G1 is flawed. Plain and simple. It has its ups, but it has a lot of downs. So, in all honesty, I can't love G1. I didn't actually grow up with G1. Sure, when I was a kid, I had VHS tapes of G1, and I loved watching them. But I didn't grow up watching G1. No, I grew up with Beast Wars, Beast Machines, R.I.D., Armada, and Energon. So, those are the ones I grew up with. R.I.D. and Beast Machines, that's where I love it. Because Beast Machines is actually a really good series. Yes, it gets a bad rap, but dude, have you seen G1? The animation is not pretty. It is inconsistent as all fuck. Like, seriously, Bruticus running into Blastoff? Really? I know mass shifting is a thing, but only a few Transformers are capable of cloning themselves. And even then, half the time they're not actually clones, but rather twins, or triplets in the case of Reflector, or Refractor, whichever one you want to go with. But yeah, I'm working with Energon scale. The only reason I'm working with Energon scale is because I already have those figures, so I may as well work with them. Now, I am missing Energon Superion and Energon Bruticus. The United Asia version of Bruticus, Nexus Prime, and the StarCats defense team, so the Protect Bots. Those are the ones that I know that I need to get a hold of. But then we've got some other options. So let's go over some of them. So, first of all, Abominus. Now, there are very few options in the way of a Energon or Legend scale Abominus, so he's on the back burner. Road Caesar, there is meant to be a third-party Road Caesar coming out. I'm not sure when, but technically this guy can be done with a couple Combiner Wars figures, specifically just some of the limbs and one of the torsos. I'm not specifically sure what, but they're not too hard to actually put together. So he's not a major requirement. Sidewalk Vinaigrette is not a major requirement. Dino King, and in correspondence, Monstructor. Now, there is the Hasbro Legacy one that is currently in run. We're only missing Snarl. Now, we are, from what we can gather, looking at a possible Dino King repaint. But Monstructor is probably going to be a Gen Selects or online exclusive. Personally, I would love a Monstructor. I'd like a Monstructor more than Dino King, because I technically already have a Dino King. But my Dino King is more of the Volcanicus style. So there's that. Landcross. Okay, this one's going to be a tricky one, because it follows the Energon Powerlink style setup, and theoretically we are meant to be getting Energon figures that can do the Powerlinks, so we might actually get some small Legend scale or small Deluxe scale figures that can combine into shirts and pants. And from there, theoretically, we could come up with a plausible Landcross. So that would be kind of cool. But it's not a major at the moment. Leo Kaiser and the subsequent Rescue Kaiser. Now, this one's actually a bit tricky because, well, there's no Legend scale Leo Kaiser as far as I'm aware. Iron Factory is meant to be coming out with a Leo Kaiser, but I don't know if it's Legend scale. And there is already, I think it's TFC Hades? Give me a moment. Yeah, TFC Hades. This mofo. Well, not specifically that, but yeah, this. As far as I'm aware, that is not Energon scale, so that won't work for what I'm planning. But there is actually a way of doing a big, well, sort of big, 6-part Combiner Wars Leo Kaiser. It requires actually having the Leo Kaiser box set, but then replacing the Deathsaurus with a modified Combiner Wars Hound or Swindle, and then getting, I think it's either Fireflight or Firefly, or a Darkwing. The one that has the folding out wings to make up the torso and pelvis. And then it's just a case of 3D printing the parts, because there's literally a 3D printable kit to actually put together a more accurate structure-wise Leo Kaiser, and I would gladly go out of my way to actually buy that. So he's an option. I just don't want to do anything expensive. Then we have, I believe this motherfucker is Raiden? I think that's Raiden. Wrong Raiden, you motherfucker. Yep. Raiden. Okay, so Raiden doesn't really have anything in the way of legend scale. So he's very much on the back burner. And there aren't really much in the way of options of small little train transformers that I can put together into a combined thing. Those would require a lot of modification and customization. So, yeah. It wouldn't fit. The next would be, well, my holy grail, the Seacons. If you know me, you know I love the Seacons. I would gladly buy multiple sets of the Seacons. I still have yet to get a hold of the Power of the Primes Gen Select one, or God Neptune. I've yet to get those. I really fucking want them. I just don't got the money. I just don't have the money. I wish I had the money, but I don't got the money. But yeah, there's nothing really in the way of Legend scale, but Piranacon is gigantic, so getting the Combiner Wars version would work just fine. Predaking. Okay, there are two options I can go for, because Predaking has been depicted as being humongously big, bigger than a normal combiner, but also being the same size as other combiners. So the two options I have are the Kang Toys Thunder King Mini, the Legend Scales one. I just really hope they actually do a box set. Or the KO undersized Feral Rex. The only problem with that is getting a hold of Feral Rex, because no matter what version you go after, either the Jin Bao oversized, the Nero Rex, the official, even the old knockoff undersized ones, they're all expensive, especially if you're in the UK. Sure, I could try Taobao or AliExpress, but here's the problem. There's no guarantee you'll actually receive the thing you pay for from those websites. You can pay for it, but you have no guarantee of actually receiving it. Along with the fact I can find no information about shipping, postage / shipping, or import. That is a critical thing. Because, yeah, it's all fine and dandy saying that you bought something for, say, £5, but if the import is £20 to £30, that is where it becomes unviable to buy the thing. So, yeah, the import and the postage are part of the overall price. You can't just say, oh, you can get it online for such and such. What's the import and postage? I don't know. Stuff like that. Come on. So, this guy has options, but no concrete decision. Defensor. Now, I have the Combiner Wars hotspot, so I could, if I wanted to, go after the rest of the team. Well, minus blades, because expensive. Like, seriously, the helicopter mod has become expensive for some unknown reason. So I'd have to go with Rook. And honestly, I kind of like Rook more. I like Rook more. I really do. Rook more! Yay! You can call it Rook more. But yeah, I already decided that I want to get a hold of the Starcats Combiner team to go alongside my Dino King, just because it works and it fits with the aesthetic. Bruticus I've already got. The Technobots are gonna be a weird one, because there are some options out there, but then there's just others that are too expensive. So I'm going to need to do a bit more research into what's available for him. Devi, now I have Classics Devastator and I've got Energon Devastator, but they're 5-part units, not 6. So what I would like to go for is either Make Toys Giant or Make Toys, or TFC Hercules. Now, Devastator is meant to be bigger than everyone, so it would make sense to actually go for either Giant or Hercules. Now, there is also Gravity Builder, but Gravity Builder is too big. He's more MP scale. Now, if I could get Gravity Builder for a decent price, then yeah, I'd go for it. But I'm not paying anything above 20 quid. No. There is the knockoff option, and to be honest, they're actually really decent quality knockoffs. Good solid plastic. But I'm not paying the import on those. So, at the moment, I have Devastator sorted. Superion. Well, I've already got that sorted. But Energon Superion did have a brother who was literally just Energon Superion. Yeah. If you haven't seen the Super Energon arc or episode of Energon, then basically at the center of Cybertron, or one of the lower levels, there was a pool of Super Energon, guarded over by 4 Combiners. 2 Decepticons, 2 Autobots. Decepticons were Bruticus and Devastator, or Constructicon Maximus. The Autobots were Superion and other Superion. I genuinely cannot remember the guy's name, so give me a moment. Dauntless Maximus. His name is Dauntless Maximus, and he's literally just Energon Superion. That's Dauntless Maximus. That's Energon Superion. Literally the exact same blighter. No difference whatsoever. So, essentially, I will be using the Revenge of the Fallen Superion as Superion, but then use the Energon one as Dauntless. And then use the Energon version of Bruticus as Battle Gaia. Not the best option, but it kind of works as a Battle Gaia. to a degree. So give me a moment, give me a moment. Tiny picture. It kind of works. Kinda. A little bit. Not really. Shut up. It works to me. So, yeah. That's what I would use that for. Now on to Menasor. Boy. Okay. This one's an interesting one because I do actually have an option, and that is yes, the RID 2015 Menasor. Now, this is roughly about how big he is compared to an old G1 combiner. And from what I can gather, that's actually roughly how tall the Energon combiners are. So, yeah. He's an option. He would need a lot of work, and honestly, I'd have no complaints with modifying the figures to make them a bit bigger, give them a bit more articulation in combined mode, give him knees, give him elbows, stuff like that. I'd have no complaints with that. But then the other option would actually be to take the limbs from Constructicon Maximus, turn the bulldozers into off-road trial trucks, turn the cranes into six-wheeled F1 cars a la drag strip, and put them onto the Bruticus torso and swap out the head for something more akin to, well, Menasor, or just make it more boxy. And I think that would work quite well as an Energon-styled Menasor. Though, I would need to repaint the torso either grey or get a hold of the ROTF version. Now, yeah, technically the United Asia version would be the better choice, but I'd rather not paint up a United Asia version. I want the United version, but I'm not paying ridiculous prices for one. So, yeah. Other than that, this guy is kind of a I would love to have, but I'm not holding my breath on getting a hold of one because this guy was a mess to even get when he was new. You had to attend BotCon 5 years in a row because these were all freebie figures that you got, one each year. The cheapest I have seen this guy go for as a set or individually collectively totals to about nearly 500 to 800 quid. So, honestly, I'm not holding my breath on getting one. And then there's, well, give me a moment. Say hello to 07 Gun Barrel, an unreleased Transformer for the 07 movie, because originally a number of the combiner limbs and combiner figures were actually meant to be re-released as new characters in the 07 movie, because a number of Energon and Cybertron figures had been, well, much the same, re-released. Gun Barrel and his partner, Cobra, or Reverb, I just know it as Cobra, were meant to be released. Officially, they were not released, but some of them did get out. So, if you were lucky, you could find these guys on retail for about £5. Well, I think it was £5 or £8, can't quite remember. We didn't really have anything in the way of movie figures around my town at that time. We only got Tesco's in 2009 to 2011, so we didn't have any of the first movie toys. So, yeah. But these guys are unreleased figures. Trying to find them on eBay, cheapest I could find was nearly £300 individually. And that was just my shitty luck just doing a general search. You might be able to find them cheaper, but I couldn't. So these guys, I'm not holding my breath trying to get them. I would love to. I genuinely would love to get these. But I'm not holding my breath. So, yeah. That's my plan for combiners. Well, the G1 assortment of combiners. I want to get an actual rail racer, but I also want to do my custom rail racer, so there's that. Then there's a rail breaker that I'm working on. But trying to do it all in Energon scale is not particularly easy. Mainly because most options are either too big or too small. Majority of them being MP scale. I do not touch MP scale. So that is a no-no for me. Mainly because I don't have the space and I don't have the money. So, yeah. Wish me luck on trying to get those. Recently I've been getting my desk sorted out so it can actually be used. It is usable, not the best, but usable. My next video I do plan on recording and releasing. Well, I've got some videos that I've done, I just never put them up, so those will be put up at some point. But yeah, the next video I will be recording will either be a Lego video or a trading cards video. So, yeah, I've got a bunch of trading card stuff that I need to go through. Wish me luck on that. But yeah. This has been Wolkaiser Drake, signing off.